Seattle schools sued big tech over youth mental health crisis. Russia plans to mobilize 500,000 soldiers. Eisai and Biogen get US FDA approval for Alzheimer's drug. Ant Group founder Jack Ma to give up control. US launches website for alleged fraud victims of FTX. Ethiopians celebrate first Orthodox Christmas since peace deal. Millions of Americans are taking part in Dry January. Yeoh expected to win Golden Globes Awards.
Hello, I'm Jolie. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It is Monday, January 9th, and here are your top stories. The U.S. Seattle City School District filed a novel lawsuit blaming big tech for poisoning youth with social media addiction by saying schools can't fulfill their educational mission while students are suffering from anxiety, depression, and other psychological troubles. According to the complaint filed late Friday in Seattle Federal Court, Alphabet, Meta Platforms, Snap, and ByteDance, the owner of TikTok, are responsible for hooking young people on their platforms and creating a mental health crisis.
Higher rates of suicidality, so suicide attempts and suicidal thinking.
In last Friday's suit, Seattle School District 1 is asking a judge to find that the companies have created a public nuisance and to order remedies, including monetary damages and funding to prevent and treat excessive use of social media. The district said it has seen a dramatic increase in suicides and emergency room mental health visits. Seattle School District Number 1 said, youth in our community are experiencing the same mental health crisis observed nationally.
A Ukrainian military intelligence service representative, Andrei Chernyak, said that the government believes Putin is planning to mobilize up to 500,000 new troops in preparation for a new offensive in Ukraine, which will be announced on January 15th after the Orthodox Christian Christmas. Chernyak estimated 500,000 people would be mobilized, with those living in cities such as Moscow and St. Petersburg to be most impacted. According to a Ukrainian official, there are currently 280,000 Russian troops on the ground in Ukraine.
The new infusion of manpower will massively increase the number of soldiers Russia has deployed in occupied Ukraine. Russia's first mobilization in last October of 300,000 soldiers was heavily criticized, with many mobilized soldiers being untrained, elderly, unwell, or too young to fight. There have been reports of drunken brawls and indiscipline among the mobilized troops, with one recent incident resulting in the murder of a Russian military commander.
The U.S. Food and Drug Administration last Friday approved the Alzheimer's drug lecanemab developed by Eisai and Biogen for patients in the earliest stages of the disease. Eisai and Biogen said last Saturday that the Japanese drug maker had applied for full FDA approval of the drug. The drug to be sold under the brand Leqembi belongs to a class of treatments that aim to slow the advance of the neurodegenerative disease by removing sticky clumps of the toxic protein beta amyloid from the brain.
Eisai said the drug would launch at an annual price of $26,500. The Japanese company said it also planned to apply for marketing authorization for Leqembi in Japan and the European Union by the end of its business year on March 31st, with hope of winning an approval from the Japanese authority by the end of this year. Eisai estimated the number of U.S. patients eligible for the drug would reach around 100,000 within 3 years, increasing gradually from there over the medium to a long term.
Ant Group's founder Jack Ma will give up control of the Chinese fintech giant in an overhaul that seeks to draw a line under a regulatory crackdown. According to Reuters calculations, Ma previously possessed more than 50% of voting rights at Ant, but the changes mean that his share will fall to 6.2%. According to Ant's IPO prospectus filed with exchanges in 2020, Ma only owns a 10% stake in Ant, an affiliate of Alibaba Group Holding, but has exercised control over the company through related entities.
The managing director of Orient Capital Research, Andrew Collier, said Jack Ma's departure from Ant Financial, a company he founded, shows the determination of the Chinese leadership to reduce the influence of large private investors. This trend will continue the erosion of the most productive parts of the Chinese economy. And said last Saturday that its management would no longer serve in the Alibaba partnership, affirming a change that started mid last year.
I always needed the time on my own, I never thought I'd be here. I take your blessings with your heartaches too. It's so easy and so wonderful to know it's you.
学习，一切从今天开始。FUNDAY 英语。
The U.S. government launched a website last Friday afternoon for victims of FTX cryptocurrency exchanges alleged fraud, which involved a failure of Samuel Bankman-Fried to communicate with law enforcement. The website read, "If you believe that you may have been a victim of fraud by Samuel Bankman-Fried, aka SBF, please contact the Victim Witness Coordinator at the United States Attorney's Office." A U.S. district judge authorized federal prosecutors to use the website as to not have to contact victims individually.
Now, U.S. securities regulators have charged Sam Bankman-Fried with defrauding investors.
U.S. federal law requires prosecutors to contact possible crime victims to inform them of their rights, including the rights to obtain restitution, be heard in court, and be protected from defendants. Prosecutors had said that FTX could owe money to more than 1 million people, making it impracticable to contact each victim. Prosecutors have said that Bankman-Fried stole billions in FTX customer deposits to pay debts for his hedge fund, Alameda Research, and lied to investors about FTX's financial condition.
2 months after a ceasefire agreement, crowds of Ethiopian Orthodox Christians flocked to the town of Lalibela to celebrate Christmas in the hope of a long-awaited reconciliation. After 2 years of devastating war in northern Ethiopia between the federal government and rebels in the Tigray region, Africa's largest Christian site returned to the excitement and fervor of Jannah, a major religious festival. Lalibela has been at the heart of a fierce struggle for several months, changing sites 4 times before the peace deal.
A white tide of tens of thousands of worshippers of all ages flocked to St. Mary's Church in Lalibela to mark Jannah.
A white tide of tens of thousands of worshippers of all ages, draped in their immaculate Nutella, a white shawl covering head and shoulders, invaded the city of Lalibela, which is home to 12th and 13th century churches carved into the rock and classified as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. In recent years, the crowds have been much smaller. This town in the Amhara region is only about 40 kilometers as the crow flies from Tigray, where a conflict between the government and rebels began in November 2020, spreading for a time to neighboring regions.
This month, millions of Americans are taking part in Dry January in an effort to forgo alcohol for a month and cleanse themselves of the excesses of the holiday season. Alcohol use, even at low levels, is linked to a number of cancers, including breast, colorectal, liver, and esophagus. Alcohol contributes to approximately 75,000 cancer cases and 19,000 cancer deaths per year. Furthermore, a recent study found that more than 50% of adults in the U.S. are unaware of the cancer-related risks of alcohol consumption.
And one of the main reasons health professionals encourage Dry January is so you can look at your relationship with alcohol and decide if it is unhealthy.
According to the U.S. National Survey on Drug Use and Health in 2020, nearly 70% of people ages 18 and older in the U.S. said they had consumed an alcoholic drink in the previous year. Additionally, 24% of people reported binge drinking in the previous month. Binge drinking is defined for women as 4 or more drinks per occasion and 5 or more drinks per occasion for men. Thanks to lobbying by the powerful alcohol industry, alcohol's dangers may be underplayed and its benefits exaggerated.
2 days before the Golden Globes on Tuesday, Michelle Yeoh is set to collect Best Actress awards at Sunday night's National Board of Review Awards in New York with Everything Everywhere All at Once. Movie awards prediction website Gold Derby anticipated that Everything Everywhere All at Once will win its top prize, Best Film Comedy Musical, as well as a clean sweep of its acting categories for lead actress Michelle Yeoh and supporting performers Jamie Lee Curtis and Ji Wei Guan.
In the multiverse, you can live up to your ultimate potential.
According to Goat Derby, Everything Everywhere All at Once will dominate the Golden Globes for film with 4 wins out of its 6 nominations. Golden Globes commented on its website that some have dubbed Everything Everywhere the most important step forward in film in decades, and its current Rotten Tomatoes score is 96%. The movie info from Rotten Tomatoes said the film is hilarious and big-hearted sci-fi action adventure about an exhausted Chinese-American woman, Michelle Yeoh, who can't seem to finish her taxes.
FUNDAY News will help you sharpen your English skills and keep you informed about international current events. If you want to know more about our other programs and keep learning about the world's most important topics in English, please click the link in the description below to join FUNDAY for free. I'm Jolie, your host. I'll see you next time.